Day after day, I must face a world of strangers where I don't belong. I'm not that strong.
What up, everybody, and welcome back to the DreSays podcast. We are on episode 31. This is going to be one of my favorites. We ain't even started yet, but I know this is going to be one of my favorites because it's something that's important to me that doesn't seem important to the rest of the world, and I wanted to put this out there. This is my Father's Day episode, y'all. My Father's Day episode. I got some of my closest friends who are amazing fathers on here with me. None of my friends are bad fathers, or we ain't gonna be friends, to be honest with you. And I wanted to get them on here so we can have a chat and just a powwow about being dads, even though I'm not one. But I'm gonna start off at the top.
Allegedly.
What'd you say? Allegedly?
We know.
Listen, I'm getting old, y'all. So if I got kids out here, y'all might want to tell me now, because that retirement package ain't that fucking big. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm tell you that shit gone.
Yeah, I saw a 5-year-old hustling on the street look just like you.
Hustling on the street? Might be mine.
Hustling. Yeah.
Well, shit, we'll start with you then, Chuck.
Hey, how you doing, Dre?
I'm good, man. Thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate it.
For having me.
Tell the people who you are, how you met me.
My name is Charlton Harley. I met Dre about 20 years ago. Maybe longer. Was it longer?
Yeah, about 2021. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a 19-year-old kid right out of high school, and I hired him to work in my Radio Shack store.
Oh, choice.
Yeah, we had some fun in that Radio Shack. I think that my best memory is when we would cut off the camera for certain types of customers.
And lock the door.
Yeah, lock the door. Where's he going? He's going to lock the door. Why is he going to lock the door? You're going to find out real soon.
You still got a problem? We still got an issue?
I am a 50-year-old father of 6. My oldest is Eric. He is 27. I have 2 daughters, Tamara and Tabitha. They are 25 and turning 23 respectfully. I have 3 more boys, CJ, Cooper, and Noah. CJ is 18. CJ will be leaving for boot camp on July 28th. I have a 15-year-old son who's turning 16 this year named Cooper. And then my baby is 14. His name is Noah.
Cooper,
my wife has 8. He counts me.
You said your wife has 8?
Yeah, I'm a handful.
If you don't remember, if y'all watched my podcast before, I had Charlton's wife on here when she was running for office in Penfield, New York, Chrissy, and she's an amazing woman just for even dealing with his shit, let alone 6 kids. Let alone 6 kids. Rob, we gonna go to you next, man.
What's going on, Rob? And I met Dre through my wife now. They were friends, and then we became better friends about 10, 11 years. And I am a 35-year-old first-time father to a 1.5-year-old who has a lot of my behavioral characteristics.
1.5 going on 30. Walking around like a grown man right now. Rodney, we go next, bro.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, world? Dre is actually my brother-in-law. Yes. I have 2 great, wonderful children with his sister. I also had a 24-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. Yeah, I got a total of 3. They're all healthy. Yet they break you. They break you all day. Yes. I spent $50 on personal training today. Can you believe that?
What'd you say?
How
much?
$50.
That ain't. I forget how Rodney is sometimes.
$50. No, that's just for the day.
I know. We just started. Bro. I believe me. I know. Wait till the basketball camp start.
Right. Oh, well, that $500 was last couple of weeks ago. Right. So yeah. Now I don't want you guys to think I'm cheap or nothing, but listen, I'll break my pockets for them. You know what I'm saying? I consider them as my retirement package anyway. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Simone, it's on you, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody should know, bro. I really ain't even trying to get into all that shit.
Listen, man.
Like, it's been, I might as well say from the cradle. That's just what it seems like anyway. Finish line. And while you was at Radio Shack, after you was at Radio Shack,
Yeah.
all that good stuff in between. Everybody knows I'm a father of 3. I got 10-year-old son, 7-year-old daughter. My youngest boy is 4. So the house is a straight zoo, right? Especially right now, it's my vacation, bro. Shit is wild.
Right. Oh, I could imagine.
Yo.
You know what I can't stand? When they eat all the cereal and then won't throw the box away. Like, I mean, listen.
Oh, we just getting into it. All right.
No, why am
question.
I throwing out the? I haven't tasted breakfast cereal in 15 years. I can tell the boxes.
I do eat those muffins though.
Listen, you know why I wanted to do this episode in general? I remember when I was 18 when I started at Radio Shack, and I remember it was Father's Day. We were coming up on Father's Day. You know, they do the specials. Radio Shack back in the day was Father's Day heaven. You know what I mean? Get your dad some batteries and a flashlight. All the bullshit that the house needs, that's for y'all though. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Charlton looking at me and going, ready for the most underrated holiday or underrespected holiday in the world.
100%.
And I said, huh? And he was like, Father's Day. I started thinking about it. I said, shit, you might be right, bro. Like it didn't hit me too deep until I started thinking about it. I said, damn, even when it comes to like Father's Day, like even with like my mom, she'd be like, oh yeah. I'll be like, well, what does he want? I don't know. Just get him a car wash coupon.
Gas card.
Gas card.
Lowe's card.
Some shit that benefits everybody else but just him. So my first question to y'all is, as dads, you know what I'm saying? And as good dads, like I said, y'all my friends, I know y'all are good dads. As good dads, what would y'all actually like for Father's Day?
A lot of steak. Whole lot of steak. And an empty house.
Whole lot of steak, empty house.
You can keep the steak.
And I want to know where the remotes are before I sit down.
You're right. My PS5 controller never gets charged. I got 3 of them, and all of them dead.
Don't you got the charger stand?
Bro, I got controllers 3 on purpose.
None of them.
None of them.
How about you, Rob? This is gonna be your second Father's Day.
Yeah, congrats, bro.
Thanks, bro. It's interesting. When I look at Carlton, I'm looking into the future.
Oh,
like,
100%.
am I gonna have to look at that?
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
my
the
son
rookie
is
of the
snatching
year.
food out of my hand. My son is snatching food out of my hand now and looking at me like,
but it's
he'll come right up to me. He'll be like, Papa, eggs. And I'm like, bro, you're a year and a half. You demanding eggs right now.
So, I mean, what you want this year? What'd you get last year, actually? How about that?
I got some socks because last year was I also graduated with my MBA. Yep. So I got a bunch of gifts. I like those gifts.
Those don't count.
I think what I would like Lowe's.
Those don't count.
I got Lowe's gift cards.
Okay. It's like somebody who got a birthday on Christmas. You should have separate gifts. I don't care what nobody say.
Right.
I think for me, I just like that. I think just like the freedom to just like do what I want. There's peace and quiet. If I want to go to the range, go to the range.
Right.
If, whatever the case, they want to let a few rounds off, go shoot at the range for a while. Just relax.
This all seems
like that freedom of like.
Rodney, how about you, man? I know my sister, so I know she figured out what your gift was going to be the day of. So,
okay, so since you know your sister, my Father's Day is I want everybody to say, "Yep, Dad, you're right."
I meant to tell y'all something attainable, something that would actually happen.
My bad.
I wouldn't even ask for that.
Picked out.
That's going too far. You're asking for too much.
Rodney trying to find a new home.
That's beyond the scope of feasibility.
You asked me what I wanted.
You're right. He can either be right or happy.
Right or happy. That's the option.
I choose happy. Hey, listen, I tried right for the first 2 years. You didn't get any sleep at night, so I'm good with happy.
Dre, that's the funny part, bro. Like we talk a bunch of shit about Father's Day.
Yeah.
And how we don't get what we want, but half the time we really don't want too much of shit.
That's what so that was what I was gonna say. It's this shit all seems simple.
Yeah.
Like Mother's Day is like
extravagant.
And nothing
You know
against
what
the
it is,
moms.
Dre?
Nothing against the moms. You know what I'm saying? I understand, but y'all like especially when it comes to, and I'm not even gonna say like all fathers, because we all know there ain't shit. My father is a prime example. Wasn't the most present person. You know what I'm saying? So not all deserve that. But when you have good men like y'all who do what y'all are supposed to do, and we're gonna get into that in a moment. But like peace and quiet is pretty simple.
Nah.
You're right.
I think it
is pretty simple.
I think it's the not having to worry about anything.
Yeah. Yeah. For the day.
Yeah.
For the day. And I ask y'all this stuff because, you know, I'm not a dad. So like I witness it and I have thought my opinions and thoughts on it, but like, I don't know. So that's why I brought y'all on here to talk about it. So we got the simple part out. The easy thing is the gift. Ladies, when you're watching this, leave them the fuck alone for the day. That's it. Let them breathe.
Yes.
4 hours. That's it. Well, actually 12.
12 hours.
You sleep
you gotta sleep. They gotta come home and sleep. But like,
listen, you can't even take a shit in peace. Like, nobody wants to talk to you until it's time to take a shit. Like, I mean, I was butt ass naked. No one knows me. I go to use a bathroom, and here come everybody. It's to be left alone. It's not happening.
No,
I mean, it'd be nice, but yeah, it's not happening.
All right. Well, so, I mean, so since we're talking about the, you know, leaving alone, and Rob made a pretty good point there with just not having to worry about anything. As fathers, I think, what are y'all biggest concerns? Like, I know mine. I'll start. Yeah, I mean, I know mine as far as when I was thinking about having kids at one point. Now I've got to the point where I'm like, nope, I'm good. When I was thinking about it, my major concern was to end up like my father. We're like, he wasn't a horrible person by any means, but he is. I mean, I have some traits of him. It's out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. You know what I mean? If it's not in my face at all times, or if people don't reach out to me, I kind of just back into my corner and put my head down and do what I got to do and keep moving forward. I was always afraid of becoming that as a father. So what are concerns that y'all have, like major concerns, not your day-to-day worries, like they're going to fall or whatever, but
it's for me.
Safety.
Yeah. For me, it's really just the outside world, right? So like when we came up as kids, especially when it comes to internet, bro, like the internet is lawless.
For sure.
Like, and it's far more lawless than it ever was when we were on AOL, Instant Messenger, you know, and all that shit. Instagram, Facebook, that shit is wild now. TikTok is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do you help them navigate that? Because none of it's real.
Right.
Mm-mm.
How do you, you know, YouTube and all the fun stuff that they watch that they enjoy watching, how do you really, you know, teach them that what they're watching for entertainment is fake, bro? And even the stuff that's not fake, you know, just pictures and videos of people doing stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it's half of it's still fake, it's still generic. So like, my biggest concern is having, you know, the good mix that we have of human interaction mixed with all this AI shit that they're going to be dealing with, you know, like real soon, especially as, you know, 10, 11, 12 going into teenage years. That's my big worry.
Yeah. And for me, when I think about it, I think as you get that question, Dre, I think about it in like 3 parts, right? You have like the safety, and we've talked about this, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're both, you know, gun owners, and I've said the same thing. Like, I want, like, the safety outside the world is something of concern for me and my family, right?
Right.
So that's one the first thing. The second thing is trying to, and I guess because I'm the new father, is trying to let my son be a child for as long as he can maintain that level of like purity.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know there's going to come a point where, you know, things will be introduced and he will have to develop a thicker skin and have the self-defense mechanisms and tools, right?
Kids are the most purest form of humans before adults ruin them. Period.
Right. And then the last one reminds me of a quote is, you know, a father's job is to pick your child up. However you want to visualize that, whether physically, psychologically, mentally, like, it's to pick them up.
Right.
So making sure that he has a support, or that I'm around enough that he feels and knows that there's always going to be someone that, you know, to pick him up. That level of support and love, I think that's really important. I don't want my son ever to grow up to be like, I don't ever question, like, I wasn't loved, right?
Right.
I would say to touch on what you said, Dre, about your dad, because my father, I experienced him, being an alcoholic, and he was always blowing his money and just doing just off the wall shit all the time. I mean, now he wasn't abusive. He was more so abusive with his presence, but he didn't beat the shit out of me or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I always told myself, I already know that I'm formulated with him. So I have to always be aware of the things that I do, because it'll remind me, like, wait a minute, my dad used to do that. Because I do it with my son. I'm gonna be honest. I do it with Aiden now.
Yeah.
Saying certain times I'll come up and go off on him, but then I'll be by myself. I'm like, damn, my dad did that back in the days. So I had to go back and start all over and let him know, listen, I didn't do that. So I'm always watching the steps that I'm taking,
Right.
with him. But an even bigger concern is that Aiden's formulated with me.
Right.
Okay. All right. I was a young Black man. I experienced a lot of shit out there with the cops. Okay. Me being different, and then and then they want to, basically jump on me or just every, it was just so much, a lot of I would say just a lot of bullshit basically that I did myself. And I don't want him to do the same thing. So, but certain things I do want him to understand and learn on his own. But the stuff that I know that's gonna hurt him, like really hurt him, I have to be careful with that.
Bro,
so that's my biggest concern.
Quick story. I got a call from Rochelle, my sister, a couple weeks back. I was on FaceTime with Aiden, and she's like, look what he's doing. And I said, what's he doing? He's showing me. And I guess he was like, hustling candy at school. And she smiled and she goes, who does that remind you of? And I said, she always throws that in my face. Yeah, Aiden's just like you. I said, yeah, I know. And she looks at the camera and goes, make sure he knows that's it. And I'm like, you're right. Like, I gotta have that convo because I know where that started for me. I know where it ended up for me, and it wasn't the greatest. You know what I'm saying? So like, I see what you're saying when it comes to that. I feel like he grabs a lot of good stuff from you. I mean, even from Rochelle and even like the stuff that he's, naturally gotten, I guess, from being in my gene pool. But I think Aiden's got a better head on his shoulder, and y'all have provided a life that is better for him. You know what I'm saying? Than we ever had when we were younger. And that's the one thing that I'm super proud about with all of y'all. Like, y'all are providing lives, each and every single one of y'all, lives for your children that we may not have had growing up. You know what I'm saying? The stability, even like financially, you know what I'm saying? The education, like even with like Rob, with you, your son is a year and a half, but I can see the stability structure is there stronger than it was for you. The financial was better than it was for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have similar backgrounds when it comes to like, my stepdad's Dominican, so he's been my whole life. I know your whole family's Dominican, so I know what that background looks like. And I see you bringing the good parts of it in and making sure that other part don't come towards them. So like, I applaud the shit out of y'all for real. Like on a regular basis. Yeah.
So my answer is the exact opposite, because I think a good father does everything he can to keep his children safe. But my answer is, I don't want carbon copies. Correct. I take great pride. Children are different. Like, I have 3 boys who love sports, but I have another son who doesn't like sports. I like a particular sports team, but all my boys like different teams. I've always thought it was wrong that a father makes all the decisions for the child to base a carbon copy.
Right.
All children be as good people. You don't have to like the things I like. You don't have to do the things I do. As long as you treat people well and you treat yourself well, I'll be okay with the decisions you make, but I don't want a carbon copy of myself. That's what God put me here for. I'm doing the best I can. You were put here to be yourself. So my biggest thing for my children is, I just don't want you to emulate me to the point where you think, even though CJ joined the Navy, I never brought to CJ. CJ was able to make his own decision, college, workforce, and Navy. He chose the Navy. I'd have been okay if he didn't.
Right.
I grew up with kids who dads, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. How do you know? Like, how do you know? He's 5 years old. How do you know what he's going to do or what he wants to do? Right. So wrong. I think you're robbing that child of a life. if you make so many decisions for your child that they don't get to make the decisions for themselves. And then you have to ask yourself, if you make all your decisions for your child, when do they get that practice? When do they get an opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet, decide what they want to do for them?
Right.
So the thing is, I think the greatest thing a parent can do, besides loving their child, is teaching their child how to make good decisions. And I think a lot of parents, I mean, at 18 now they're an adult, but they have no ability to think for themselves, to navigate this world. And I think at a young age, you give children some amount of freedom to decide for themselves certain things. And then in a safe space, you can discuss if it was a good idea or not a good idea. But if you don't give that child an opportunity to grow and make their own decisions, that's when you get children who turn 18 and get some freedom and go absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
So I want my children to be me. I mean, be good, love yourself, love the people around you, but whatever your life is, I'll figure it out and love it regardless, as long as these are your decisions, not anybody else's decisions.
Cool.
That's
You know what?
facts.
Listen, this is why I got
That's
the old head
wisdom.
on
That's
here.
wisdom.
Right.
That's wisdom right there.
Right. All right. I got only, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. When I sent y'all the time at 8:30, I got a little bit of feedback from a couple people. I know y'all dads. Y'all get the kids down at certain times. A couple people was like, what? But we are, so I'm gonna keep it, we're not gonna be too long tonight. I only have 2 more questions for y'all, man. Rob, unfortunately, this question is not gonna pertain to you, but to the other 3. Is there a difference between your daughters and your sons when it comes to how you treat them? And I know, you know what I mean? I know y'all can't lie to me because I don't witness it. I know y'all got daddy's girls. So when it comes down to the discipline, when it comes down to teaching them about life, is there a difference between the 2?
Boys are knuckleheads. You know, I will pop my son in the back of the head lovingly if he does something stupid. I'm not popping my daughter in the back of her head. You know, I don't want her to think that that's okay for a man to do.
Right.
So absolutely. But you got to have a daughter, because boys, when they move out, will never come back in. They'll honk as they drive past the street. A daughter will at least stop in the house, make sure you got food, make sure you're taking your medication. You know,
Right.
When I was young, I didn't want daughters. Now that I've grown old, I don't know what I'd do without my daughters. I mean, who's going to take care of them? I mean, my wife is here, but she only likes me so many times.
Right. And one thing your daughter would do will hold you accountable. And then, like, my already calls me on my shit. Like I'll say, you're like, oh, you're lying, Dad. No, I'm not listening to you. Like, just shit like that. So it's definitely, it's a huge difference. And I think it's more, you know, you take more role of educating your daughter, and with your sons, you're kind of reactive. So you react first and then you educate, simply because once they go outside, you don't want the world to hold them accountable. You want to hold them accountable first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you hold your daughter accountable. It's just not in the same way. It's just it's different. Like it's hard to do it. And he gave a great example, because I won't pop my daughter for shit. I can't. Like I don't got it in me. But you know, I do have to do.
You have to live the example of the man you want her to be with. Right. So you have to example. And again, I don't want a man, even lovingly, like hit my daughter in the back of the head. You know, I buy my daughters flowers, take them out, do anything I can, because that's what I want them to be with when I'm not around.
Standard.
So you don't raise boys the same way. Boys are physical creatures. Sometimes you got to get physical with boys, because sometimes you can talk to them. You can tell they've tuned out. So sometimes you got to, so you can't raise them the same. You still love them the same, but you can't raise them. They're not the same.
I feel like Rodney might be in trouble at this point, because, you know, Aiden kind of big, bro.
Woo! That was what I was gonna say. When it come to,
hey, listen, it ain't gonna work. What? I got a bat. I got a stick. I got all that stuff.
He ready. He's strapped. He ready.
Yeah, I would say, as far as my daughter, there's not too much I have to act upon her, because for some reason she knows what time it is. I can say, you know, for my daughter's first 5 years of her life, all she saw was me. And the reason is I was working overnight. Right. And I'll come home and I was with her all day. up into the afternoon. Then, of course, sometimes in the evening. So all she saw is me. So throughout them first 5 years and even beyond that, she know how I conducted myself around other men. She saw me when things aren't supposed to go the way it's supposed to go. They know when I become an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So she picks up on that. And also she sees my actions in the house with her mother. She sees, a lot of these things that she sees with me, she pick up on that. So she's pretty much feels like she's in good hands. Right. And I think I spanked my daughter the last time was like maybe 4 years old, But other than that, it's just a look I have to give her, or I'll just give her a speech and she'll just
just
break down. So
she'll take that I'm disappointed stronger than that
yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. So but she's formulated with your sister shit too.
I already know.
So
Good luck.
It's but overall, I think the relationship, with my daughter and my son is totally different, but they both have the same expectations from me when it's time to be disciplined, when it's time to be rewarded, when it's time to give them advice or whatever like that. Regardless, sometimes they're like, all right, Dad, whatever. But they listen though. They listen. You can see it in their actions though.
Oh yeah. All right. This last question, y'all. So far in life, and I say that because I know you're a new dad.
We're not rushing. We're not rushing. Right? You already got us. You got us up, okay?
I'm rushing it. These are the questions I had laid out.
Bro, it's like it's past
I'm
time.
over here sweating.
So the price is right. It's almost over.
I want to know y'all most proudest moments as dads so far.
When all three of my children were born.
Really?
Those are my, because I was like, man, I actually made that. Right. I cried all 3 times. I was there, not trying to be graphic. I was there when all 3 of them came out the womb. I saw them come out the womb. So that right there, I can really take as those were the most best moment of my life, like overall. With with an exception of me being born and stuff like that. But yeah, I can say that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If I've ever seen my children be kind without reason, I've seen my oldest son one time stood up to a kid that was getting bullied. I've seen my children do things, because I've always asked my children a question. Today, you'll be given an opportunity to be kind or right. If you choose right, you'll have what you already had before you started the conversation. If you choose kind, you may grow a new friend. So I really care how they treat each other and how they treat people. So if I've ever seen them be unconditionally kind to someone, even if that person doesn't deserve it, that makes me proud, because I know for a fact that their life will be better, because we all want to be right, but very few of us ever want to be kind. And kind, a lot of people take kind to mean weak. Kind has nothing to do with weak.
Right.
But my children be kind to someone. I saw my son, I dropped him off, and as he's walking to the door, he held the door for someone. I always open my wife's door, and if I see my boys open the doors for the ladies in their lives, to me, that means that they've picked up something from me that's valuable, they'll keep them for a long time. So if they've ever been kind to someone, and not kind to their mother or not kind to their other sister, kind to someone they don't know for no reason, I feel as I've done my job as a parent, because I've put someone in a world who chooses kindness over always choosing right. Because if you ever seriously think about it, most of the problems we have in this world are 2 people who think they're right and are unwilling to talk.
Cool. Amen, bro. Amen.
Big facts.
Rob, where you at, man? I know it's new. What's your most proudest moment so far?
2 things. What Rodney mentioned, when Javi was born, it was mid-pandemic, so I was barely allowed in the room, and it was my wife and I. And I always said, like, listen, I don't care if you're gonna go through this to bring a child into this world, I'm gonna be up there with you. So I literally had my left hand on the back of her neck and my right hand holding up her heel in my hand. and it was like an accordion, right? Because they just lose strength in that whole process. So I got to see him, like Rodney was saying, just come into the world. And I think like that right there, there are very few moments in life you're going to see something that special, because it's life being born. You know what I mean? It's coming from, you know, in the womb to real life. They're taking their breath for the first time, and you get to witness that, right? And then the second thing is watching my son learn how to walk, like first starting to walk or like trying new things, is the lack of fear. Like, I don't want him ever to fear anything other than something that's logically like, this is dangerous, I have to run away. I don't want him to fear things that are irrational, or how Ray was mentioning, things that aren't real in what's life today, right? So I think like watching him take steps that you know that are, you know, hard, and still having the courage to do it. Like those two things, there are very few things that would ever compare to what a father can experience with those two things in my mind.
Yeah. Again, y'all, this is why I did this again. We needed that. I needed people to see this. I need people to see what good fathers look like. I need people to understand that this is an important holiday, and not to skimp on the gifts, y'all. Show love, show appreciation, and give them peace and quiet for a day. Again, y'all, I appreciate it. Huh?
You ever see that comedian Ali who made the joke about Father's Day? He says the three most important holidays in America are Christmas, and then I think he said Easter, then Mother's Day, or Christmas.
All right. First of all, my apologies, fellas. Something happened on here. I don't know if you saw me earlier. I was reaching around for like a cable and shit like that. My laptop at one point said I was low on battery, but the shit was plugged in. Something crazy happened. I was able to finish up the conversation with the fellas on FaceTime. But I'm so thankful to have them on this show. Like, y'all don't understand. I'm thankful to have them on this show. I'm thankful to have them in my life. Like, as a child, like my dad, like I said earlier, my dad wasn't there. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was a horrible person or anything. He just wasn't present. My stepdad was there, but in my family dynamic, my mother was the, you know, the disciplinarian, the teacher. You know what I mean? My stepdad was there. He was present, but he could only do so much. My mom is a strong woman, and only allows so much to happen in her home with her children. So he wasn't able to play that fatherly role that I'm pretty sure he wanted to do, right? So I surrounded myself with friends. I kept important people in my life. Now, don't get me wrong, those weren't the only good fathers that I know. I know a ton of them, because to be my friend, that is kind of a criteria. If you are a father, you have a child out here, you need to take care of your children. That's a big thing for me. So again, I surrounded myself with these type of men. And I've learned tons from them. Charlton met me at the age of 18. I was reckless at 18, to be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff that my mom didn't know I was doing or going through. There's a lot of stuff that my friends and family didn't know. Even Charlton didn't know, but he guided me in the right way. You know what I mean? In the right direction in life. Rodney, I met in my teens. You know what I mean? He's my brother-in-law, but he's watched me go through the transition in life that I went through, from hustling, and then when I got regular jobs, working 3 or 4 different jobs, trying to make money, like, you know what I'm saying, to where I am financially now, and mentally and spiritually, to be honest with you. Rob, I met over 10 years ago. We weren't even, you know what I mean, we initially didn't even want to meet each other. And then we finally met each other, and just to see, you know what I mean, to watch him become a father, to see the greatness that is within him as a father, is just, it's amazing to have. And Terrell is just, y'all already know, that's my brother. That's for life, to, you know what I mean, to the end of my days, that'll be my brother. And he is one of the most involved and amazing dads I've been able to witness and watch. Like, it's you know how like people brag about their kids and they be like, oh, you know, my kids are amazing and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm bragging about them this way, but it's the truth. And I'm not on here. I wasn't on here just to make fun of Father's Day and say that y'all don't give them the respect that they need or whatever. I know that y'all do. I just wanted to bring clarity to it. You know what I'm saying? Last year I did a Mother's Day episode with my mom and my sister. It was amazing. My stepdad's not this guy. He's not going to jump on the camera and talk. And I don't blame him. He's just not that person. He's never been that person. I wouldn't expect him to be. So I figured I would bring the people that I admire the most as fathers, outside of my stepdad, to the world, so y'all could see and understand that when I'm boasting them and I post up and I put pictures of them on Father's Day like I do every Father's Day, that y'all understand, like, this is real. This is I'm not just saying that, oh, these my homies, they dads and shit like that. No, these men are fathers. They're not just baby dads. They're not just dads. They're not, you know what I mean? They're fathers. And I don't plan on having any of my own kids. I just pray one day that, I mean, if I do have children in my life, that I can be a great stepdad, a great mentor to them, and be able to even hold a candle to the thing that these men bring to the table for their family and children. But I appreciate y'all for watching. Again, I'm sorry, fellas, for the technical difficulties. It's probably because I ain't been on in a while and my computer's like, F you. But this was one of my favorite episodes. And we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something with these fellas because this was a good conversation and I enjoyed it. So we're gonna have to bring them back. We have to get a fellas night going or something where we can all just talk and get some knowledge out to the world. But as always, I love y'all.
Day after day, I must face a world of strangers where I don't belong. I'm not that strong.